Hello. Okay, I think we need to start now. Any other person can join, and then possibly they will make the available the videos so that you follow it. Today we don't have much to do. If you actually follow up with our course content, today we'll talk about georeferencing building plan and then additional modules of QGIS. For example, Mr. Abdullahi, we are just talking about producing survey sketch using QGIS. Now, the first time, even in QGIS, earlier it was AutoCAD and AutoCAD they used for survey sketch. Okay, until some like last 2 years back, I actually make some research and then come up with a particular code. It actually is in collaboration with a Python code. Although what we do is that Python code is already there. I've generated the code for them. So most of the people in charge, they actually copy the code and paste. What that code does is that it helps you to generate the bearing and distance. Okay, possibly in AutoCAD, you have to type. I said you are using something like AutoCAD Civil 3D, but if you are using normal AutoCAD, you have to type after you do your calculate your angles. You have to type the those bearing and distance manually and then arrange it. Okay, but in case when you have a situation where you have a large layout to design, now doing those things one by one is actually a serious task to be done. So that is why we come up with this particular Python code that I use to actually generate bearing and distance at a go. You understand? I remember the first layout, Sobawa layout. I don't know if you guys know about Sobawa layout in Rigachuku. That was the first service plan that I used QGIS to produce. And since that time now, in Kajis now, presently, everybody, or those that are into the survey sketch in the survey unit, or survey plan, they are presently using that particular code. So apart from what we have been saying about QGIS, there are some other functions, there are some other plugins that you can use to make your work easy. Possibly as a town planner, you talk about city engine or some other things. Maybe you want to model some things. Maybe when you do something like a layout plan of a city, and possibly you want to pull it up and so that it will look like a real model, or you want to bring up the 3D of that particular plan that you did, you understand? So all those things are different features that will be considered in QGIS. So now from the previous our previous class, we have been discussing a lot of things about QGIS, coordinate reference system, creating your shapefile, okay, which I believe everybody know how to do that. Creating shapefile, adding rasters, and then possibly do categorization, labeling, symbologies, and all that. So these are the basic things that you actually need to do in QGIS, okay, or in GIS software generally. Ability to bring in data and then be able to manipulate those data. You understand? It's one of the basic things that you need to do in GIS, okay? And then at the same time, ability to actually source for a data, that is what we do the last time when we go to different sites to download data. So you can be able to source for a data for yourself and then download that data and use it, okay? Now, if you don't actually practice this, there's no way you are going to actually learn this. So constant practice is actually very, very important if you want to continue. One thing is not about learning, okay? If you remember from the beginning of this training, I said it's not about you. It's not because you pay, then it's not because you make payment for this workshop. That does not mean that you have known QGIS, okay? And then that does not mean that it will make us to give you our certificate if you do not actually do all the assignments and then final project, because our certificate cannot just be given to anybody, except if you are 100% sure that at least that person can be able to do something, you understand, with that particular software or that particular program that you learn. Okay, this is how we do our own here. Okay, so I'll go to QGIS now. Is there anybody that have any question from the previous class that would want us to talk about? Is there any question? You can unmute yourself. We only have 2 sections today. We'll do this section. After 40 minutes, we'll join back again for another section, and then we'll stop for today because, as I said, we don't have much. We talk about georeferencing building plan. Now, reason because, in fact, presently all the people we have presently online now, at least Isa is a surveyor and Abdullah is a town planner. Adesanya, Femi, I don't know your professions, okay, but that's to say we don't have much of architect and builder presently, but that notwithstanding, we'll still talk about how you can reference. Okay, Adesanya, what is your profession?
I'm a builder, sir.
Okay, builder. Okay. So the essence of this workshop generally is GIS for construction professionals. So one of the modules or our first topic here is georeferencing building plan. Now, if you remember, when we talk about GIS, one of the way you can be able to get your data into GIS is actually georeferencing old plans, old survey plan. You understand, either survey plan or town planning plan or any kind of plan, as far as it has any means where you can be able to georeference that particular map or that particular plan. Okay. For example, one of the ways you can be able to georeference a plan is that plan. Okay. I'm hearing you, sir.
Me, sir.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Okay, this assignment 2 that says we should digitize the points we picked the other time.
Yes.
It's like we've not done it or something like that. Or is it that?
Yeah, I saw a lot of people have not done that. You know, one thing is this. You know, this is an online class. As I always say, it's an online class. So, you know, enforcing people to do some things will actually very, very difficult, because if you are enforcing it, you'll be keeping some people waiting. Possibly, if I say that if you did not submit your assignment, for example, in my physical office here or physical center here, where we have our training, if I give you assignment and you do not do it, you are not having class until you do that your assignment. But you know, based on the fact we are dealing an online, if you actually bring that policy here, it will be as if you don't want to continue with the class. That is why we have to know a lot of things to make sure that we continue. But as far as an assignment is concerned, if the only thing is, if I give you assignment and you are unable to do it, like you don't understand the assignment or you don't know how to do the assignment, that prompts for a new class. That prompts for an additional class for that particular topic. But a situation whereby you do not even try it at all, there's no way you can be able to know that you cannot be able to do these things. Only when, like, for example, Mr. Isa, you remember when you are doing this thing yesterday, now you get confused or at the point. You understand? But if you assume within yourself that you know this thing, you will not actually see the challenge on it. And then anything has to do with computer or things like this. Generally, if you don't practice it, it will leave you. Even after this workshop, if you don't actually continue, at least the little that you have learned, if you don't actually continue with it, it will definitely leave you. Okay. So that assignment, nobody have actually done that. But what thing is that there's a video for every of those steps. Any assignment or any class that we have done, there's a video for it. So you go through all those videos. Okay, you go through all those videos. If there's any way you get confused, possibly you watch the video. Not that you will not watch the video, because some people will be seeing that videos that, okay, they are much, you are not that, but at the end of every class, if you watch the videos that follow that class and practice it, there's no way the video become bulky for you. But when you do not watch them, and then I add a lot of videos for different classes and all that, it becomes so bulky for you to do. So that's how anybody have actually submitted that. But I believe if you watch the video, you can be able to do what I said to do. Okay. So now we'll talk about the referencing plan. Building plan, normally the reason why we reference a map or a survey sketch or whatever object that we can reference is because it has a grid, it has a coordinate attached to it. There's some map that has a coordinate attached to it. When you are producing a map, you are going to attach a coordinate so that even when you print that map out, another person can be able to reference that map back to the same location where it was, extracted from. Okay, but you agree with me that building plan does not come with such features that we can be able to reference building plan. So the only way that we can be able to reference building plan is through recognition of a particular point on the ground. For example, your building plan may be a particular angle where you start your drawing from. Let me share the screen. Okay, just. Okay, so a particular angle where you start your drawing from, if you know this is, as far as issue of building is concerned, it's just at that point now, you are just making a reasonable assumption because you are not actually sure. Because when you look at that point, it will not be 100%. But as I said, when it comes to issue of building management using GIS, the high level of accuracy is not required because we are dealing with locations, ability to actually see this is where my site is, and then this is where I'm positioning so thing in that site, and then this is where possibly this is where I'll place my gravel, this is where this is where we are positioning our store, this is where we'll be putting crane. You understand? All those kind of things, this is all we are considering as far as construction is concerned. Okay. So, but in terms of geolocating your building plan, what is required is that you remember that I've shown you how you can pick a coordinate. So what you need to do is to pick a coordinate of a place, possibly the point that you want your building to start from. Maybe if you want your building to face north now, maybe from the back where you know that, okay, this is where I'm doing my setting out from, you now pick the coordinate of that place, and then you know the coordinate on your QGIS, okay? Pick your coordinates using your GPS or your mobile phone, and then load the coordinate on your QGIS. The point, you agree that the point will fall, okay? Either through CSV or any method that you can bring your point to your QGIS. If you load it now, from there now you can now start your drawing, your first point from that point. So as far as you start from that point and then you are following a measurement, or let's assume you are using a satellite image and then you are following a measurement at which your building plan is being drawn, you can be able to place your building at the exact location. If it's not 100%, at least it will be at that location. Not that your building is in Kaduna and then when you are actually drawing is in Lagos or any other country. Because as far as you're not using a coordinate, your building can fall anywhere, any location. So possibly if I bring in my Google map, and then I zoom to Nigeria. Okay. Okay. Now I'll just use one of the building here to explain what I was trying to say. So now you have a building here, or let me use an empty land, possibly somewhere here. I'll just use an empty land somewhere. Okay. let's assume, okay, let me use this. Okay, the thing actually looks so blurry, I think it's network. So now this is an empty land that you want to construct, right? You remember from our previous training, we have explained how you can get to your location of your site and then possibly create a polygon and digitize the boundary of your plan. Okay, we are not going to go back to all those steps again, because if you get confused, you can watch the video. Okay, now let's assume this point here is actually blurring, but I'm seeing a particular fence here. So let's assume this is where your building is starting from. Or possibly you are the one that is doing the layout, the site layout, and then you want to position the building somewhere. And possibly the building will be facing this direction. Now, you will just assume some point here, a particular point here, and pick it as a coordinate. And then you come to the QGIS and then load that point. So that when you are drawing now, you can draw your line from that your point that you pick and then draw to the direction at which you want your building to stay, and then to the other side, and then you can form the box at which, or the boundary or the perimeter of that your particular building. Okay, because if you say you want to do the normal georeferencing in GIS, or the way you georeference normal map, it will definitely not work because building plan doesn't have a coordinate. You understand? Building plan or architect or whosoever designed the building actually did not require to put coordinates inside. Although presently, one of the things that we're trying to do in Kasuda is to actually make it that, okay, as you are submitting your building plan, you are doing your site analysis and all that, as you are submitting, possibly you're supposed to submit the four corner, the coordinate of the four corner of your building. You understand? So that at least the people in the workers in Kasuda can actually load those points and then digitize the boundary of your building at the exact location where the building is built. Okay, so that is one thing that we are considering. If possible, it will be implemented. Okay, so we talk about additional modules. As I said earlier, QGIS comes with other different options. Okay, you remember there's a time I actually explained about plugins. As you see from your top here, we have plugin. So there are other plugins that possibly that you need that is not presently on the tools that is available for you to use on this QGIS. Okay, so now how will you get those plugins? How will you get those extensions? Now we have here under the menu here, we have plugin. If I click on the plugin, I have manage and install plugin. Okay, I'll click on it. Now, mind you, you need to connect to the internet. Okay, you need to connect to the internet. So you see, I have my plugins here. Okay, these are plugins. These are different plugins. So now you can search for plugins. For example, now you see we have CCTV mapper, all right? For example, now, so let's assume your work that you are doing, you are into CCTV installation, and then you want to learn how you can map out CCTV, producing a CCTV map, or possibly you are using an AutoCAD, and then you instead of using AutoCAD to actually map out the CCTV, or position the CCTV position, or the cameras on your plan, you can actually use this particular plugin to do. Now, one thing, how you're going to do it is that you click on that plugin and then you read about how the plugins work before you install it. You understand? So on your own, go through it, go through all the plugins. For example, now this CCTV, for here, it said these plugins. I hope people are seeing my screen. Are you seeing my screen?
Yes, we can see it.
Yes.
Yes, we are seeing it.
Good. So now under the CCTV mapper now, as you can see, you say this plugin plot point along line from CSV. You remember, you know what is CSV, right? Can somebody tell me what is CSV?
Comma,
Good.
separate values.
Good. Now, so now you remember that one of the way that you can be able to bring points to QGIS is through CSV, right? So now it says that this plugin plot points a long line from a CSV file by matching an ID column in a CSV and a line feature ID. This point is plotted based on digitized direction of the line, which is the pipe, which is assumed to be upstream point to downstream point. The CSV file needs to have a specific column heading. A simple CSV file and a line shape file are included. You understand? The primary purpose for its creation was for plotting sanitary sewer pipe inspection. For example, this particular CCTV camera now, or CCTV camera, is for monitoring pipe. Let's assume you are working with Waterford, or you are working with an air company. You understand? And then you are given with the responsibility of monitoring pipe. You know, there are a lot of pipe vandalization or pipe, a lot of crime or pipe linking. You understand? But you can now be able to actually place your CCTV along the line. So you are placing a point along the line. Those points now will be indicating the position at which your CCTV will be placed. Do you understand? So now this is just a brief explanation of how you can be able to be using them, because there are a lot of plugins here. I cannot go through each of the plugins and start explaining all of them, but you click any of them to actually understand what that plugin does. Okay. For example, you can actually search. For example, we have one like ArcheoCAD. Okay. Or let me look for QCAD. Okay. Now, if you look at the ArcheoCAD generates a vectorial layer of a polygon, rectangle, circle, or ellipse using a vertex. This plugin is developed on demand of INRAP, the archaeologist and the topographer, and each particular adapted for archaeological field survey. Okay, so this function is actually for that. We have ISO, which is International Standard Organization. It has to do with plugins to map out or to do analysis for standardization for ISO organizations. Okay, so there are many of those tools. For example,
there are line survey import code.
Sir?
I said that there is land survey import code.
Okay, as a plugin?
Yes.
Okay, have you seen that already?
I have seen it.
Okay, so that is okay. Say line survey, LIN.
Yes.
Like this. Line survey.
Land.
Okay, land.
Land. LAND.
Yes.
Then survey.
Okay, land.
Survey.
Okay, land survey code import. Okay, you see the plugin here. Yeah. Land survey code import. This plugin allows you to easily import data from a land survey, GPS, or total station to draw automatic in a database using a codifications. Okay, so now you see all these things, you go through it, as I said, like as Ogaisa is doing now, it's going through it. So there are a lot of things, there are many things that you can actually use a particular plugin for. There are people that are using plugin for water survey. There are people that are using QGIS for geology. You understand? So you cannot be able to learn everything as far as QGIS plugin is concerned. The main thing is that know what you are using, what you are doing, and then you look for the particular tools that can actually work with it. Okay. So any question concerning plugin? Can you unmute yourself if you have a question?
No question.
Okay.
But, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you.
I'm just curious. The site plan, bringing in the site plan to QGIS now. What if I already have drawn just pick it and overlay it on QGIS and have all my points rather than drawing it afresh again in QGIS. I think I can do that.
If you have your site plan already,
yes, in AutoCAD.
Yes, I want to bring it to
yes, QGIS. Now to georeference it on my site.
Yes, but the challenge is that when you are drawing down your site plan in AutoCAD, right? You don't actually use coordinates.
Yes.
No, you don't actually use coordinates. But what I would advise you to do is possibly you have to know how you can reference your plan in AutoCAD. Because if you bring that particular plan now to QGIS, it will not fall at the right locations, which all the coordinates that you are going to generate, it will not be correct, right? So now in AutoCAD, possibly in AutoCAD, what you need to do is, you know how to load points now, you know how to impute coordinates in AutoCAD, right? Like using align.
Yes.
Remember align, right, in AutoCAD?
Align,
where you align.
Yes.
Yes, so use align. Now that your drawing that you are talking about, pick a physical coordinate of that on the ground, and then use align. Even if it is 1 point, use it to align it so that when you bring it to QGIS now, you can possibly, it will fall, even though it's not exact, but at least it will fall at the same location where you can now use your move tools to actually move it.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so I think that would be because if you just, you can bring your AutoCAD now, normally the way you add your layer, instead of selecting the one that is SHP, which is shapefile, you can select the one that is okay. You can select the one that is ZWG. So your AutoCAD can actually come to QGIS environment, but the only challenge is that it will not fall at the right position.
It will not be georeferenced.
Yeah, it will not be georeferenced. All right. Okay. Any other question?